7.14 is called Remainder Theorem. The Remainder Theorem in words, it states that when a polynomial, they sometimes call it p of x, p I guess for polynomial, is divided by a factor, which looks like x plus or minus a number, then the remainder equals f of a. So this is the word definition of it. Let me show you how simple it is. It says if f of x is 5x squared minus x plus 5, then what is the remainder when f of x is divided by x minus 2? So let's say you were taking a test and you saw, okay, I'm dividing. I'm going to go ahead and do this with synthetic division. So I'm going to have 5, because my coefficients, -1 and 5. I'm going to divide this by 2. Because remember, it has to be the opposite sign of this. Drop down 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 18 plus 5 is 23. That's my remainder. I'm not going to even write what my answer is as a polynomial. But I want to show you something else. If I were to take f of x, but instead of x, I'm going to plug in 2. So that means that every time I see x, I'm going to replace it with 2. Order of operations tells me to do exponent first. So this is 5 times whatever 2 squared is. 2 squared is 4. 4 times 5, that'll get me a 20. 20 minus 2 is 18. Plus 5 is 23. Huh. That matches. So what the remainder theorem says is that, yes, I can divide. I can do synthetic or long division. I can get the remainder, but a faster thing is to simply take this answer to this factor and do f of, or plug that number in for x, and whatever that equals, that is the remainder. Kind of cool. So that answer is 23. So number 2 says, given f of x equals this, and the remainder when f of x is divided by x plus 10 is 67, then what is the value of k? So I've got to use remainder theorem. I know that when I take my factor of x plus 10, I'm going to have an answer of -10. And so I can say that f of -10, so that means that's my x value, is going to equal, they tell me that remainder gets 67. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this function and say, okay, f of x is y. What does f of -10 equal? 67. So I'm going to put 67 is equal to, then I'm going to replace the x's with -10. Okay, so this tells me that when I plug in the answer to this, I get a remainder of 67. Just like I did up here, I am not even going to do this on this lesson. I'm just simply going to plug this in for x. Okay, so that's what I did. I plugged in -10 for x. I set it equal to the remainder I'm supposed to get so that I can solve for this missing variable. -10 squared would be 100. 2 times -10 is -20. 100 minus 20 is 80. And then subtract 80. So what does k equal? -13. So what that means is if I had this as my function, x squared plus 2x, then my k is a negative, so I'm going to put -13. If I had that as my function to begin with, and I said, what is the remainder when it's divided by x plus 10? I would plug in -10 for x, that gets 100 minus 20 minus 13. 100 minus 20 is 80. 80 minus 13 is 67. So see how it got the remainder they told me. So my job is to plug everything in and only have k that I'm solving for.